y'all wanna hop in the game and do the same, selling tickets to your favorite name. Join our trade. Ticket resellers investing in building every day. Join our
We have the easiest way to make money online. As you see over here, there's no MLM, no pyramid scheme, no ads or marketing required, no selling tickets in the streets, and you don't need any labor costs to scale up.
Hey, if you're interested in scaling your ticket business or your business into the millions, like I've done, selling tickets strictly online, 100% online, you'll never catch me out in the streets. Go to thetickettrap.com. Again,
It's hard to. There were things that happened that it's hard to. I remember my sister and I were like 8 and 9 years old and coming from a movie, or I think it was church or a movie, and we were walking down the sidewalk and these white bikers, grown men, saw us. Stop. And my father and mother said, whenever you can find it, run. We ran and ran and got on there. They chased us and knocked me down on the ground and kicked me and everything. And I told my sister to leave and she wouldn't. And they said, next time we tell you to stop, you're going to stop, right? Shook my head, yes. And let us up and we ran home. And my father, he told my father what happened. He went upstairs and got his gun and came back down and said, get in the back seat. We said, Daddy, don't. He said, get in the back seat. In the back seat of his car. He rode up and down Main Street. Up and down Main Street. And there were different bikers on bikes. He said, is that them? He said, no, Daddy. Is that them? And if we saw them, we wouldn't tell him because he would have killed them. He never would have seen our father again. So we just dealt with him.
Did you see him?
Yes.
Man. Oh, man. Now, to add on to that, you I think you said your grandparents were slaves or something like that. Is that true? Or great grandparents were slaves? So this is real for you. Is that true?
My grandparents were not slaves, but they saw a lot. And my great grandparents, I think they may have come out of slavery at some point, but they saw things that, they told us about what they called lynchings. They just hung us, as you know. Mm-hmm. And then what they called nigger barbecues, where there were two ways they did it. There's a book called Without Sanctuary. You got to get this book. It's a pictorial history of the lynchings and nigger barbecues. And it's called Without Sanctuary.
Okay.
And they would hang us in trees and put fires beneath us and dehydrate our bodies, or they would put us on spits alive and roast us alive. We would be screaming until we were dead. And when the ashes fell into the smoke and the fire, and you'll see it in the book, they just stand with pieces of our bodies in their hands like this and smile. So I can tell you, my mother and father, my mother was from West Point, Mississippi, my father was from Orange, Virginia. When they were young, the sidewalks were made of wood and the streets were made of mud. Mm. And so if they were going to church on a Sunday, if they were walking to church and a white family came the opposite direction, they had to step into the mud and bow their heads and wait till the white family got 100 yards away, and they got back on the sidewalk and walked to church. If there were 20 white families, they had to get in the mud 20 times.
Looking and dealing with what you've dealt with and saw, and now looking at today, how do you think that times have changed? And because we're still dealing with issues, nothing compared to what our grandparents, great grandparents, or elders before have dealt with, but still dealing with our share of racism. How do you compare the two?
Well, I think that we do have more freedoms to a certain extent. We weren't allowed to even go to the same bathroom, but now that has changed. We've evolved in terms of job opportunities, et cetera, to a great extent. But there are still, as you can see, from George Floyd to other, Mr. Brown and young Black boys that are being killed every day, it's like there's still an unfortunate amount of racism that exists. It disturbs me as much or more, and I get in trouble for saying this, but it's what we do to each other. We are killing more of each other than police or anybody else is killing. And I believe if that stopped, we came together, nothing could stop us. We're so divided as a people. And we're killing each other in, drive-bys and shooting little babies on porches. Are you kidding me? What? And I travel a lot around the world, and when I go to different countries, to be honest with you, they laugh at us because they feel that they don't know why we don't come together. They just say, okay, they see us as complainers, and that yes, there's systemic racism and then there's structural racism and they're prevented from certain positions and so on. And they ask questions, well, how come you don't start your own studios? How come you don't start your own businesses? How come you don't start your own? You don't have to depend on the white people. That's because we can. Some of it is justified, but we complain a lot. We complain a lot. My family used to say, we can complain how big the giant is. He's so tall. He's got his foot on your neck and he's crushing you. He's so tall you can't see the top of his head. That's how tall he is. He said, they used to say, you can complain about how heavy his foot is, or you can at least bite his damn toe. We can spend the rest of our lives talking about how big and horrible and mean and the giant is, but if his foot is on your neck, his toe, toes are tender. You know that, right?
Yeah.
At least bite his damn toe. Or as Malcolm used to say, there's two quotes from Malcolm I love. Malcolm said, no matter how good a checker player you are, then if the name of the game is chess, you better start playing chess. Because they're going to tell you how good a little checker players you are. And they're playing chess. And he said, no matter how good a football player you are, if the name of the game is baseball, you better get yourself a damn bat.
Yeah.
Instead of running around the bases with a football in your hand and everybody's telling you, you're one of the best football players I ever saw. And you run around bases.
Yeah.
Man, now a lot of people don't know, I'm sure some people do, that you were one of the first Black directors